With Home Chef Fast and Fresh, all you need is a microwave.
Self-incrimination. Versus
home fresh.
Is it smaller, larger, or the same group of factors that fall under 804B3 statement against
Thank
the
you.
No, that's I think the primary point I was trying to make. The evidence that counsel thinks can come in despite the invocation of the Fifth Amendment, none of that is a statement against interest. It's a description he had of others, of Mr. Floyd. That's not implicating himself and thereby not creating a statement against interest or something that would implicate him beyond the obvious fact that he is present. He's present in a vehicle where drugs are present. There are indications that he may not have been truthful when he said he didn't give Mr. Floyd any pills and may not have been aware of that. In our proposed questions, he will have to be asked if he was under the influence of any controlled substances that day, because it fundamentally affects his ability to know, remember, and relate. And that I think we will have then potentially an indication just on that question.
Whatever.
But that sphere of evidence counsel wants to put in through Mr. Hall does not constitute a statement against interest. Other statements he made, through which I think even the court realizes he would have the right to invoke the Fifth Amendment, or what counsel is claiming are these statements against interest. So the statements he wants in don't fit under that exception. They're just plain hearsay.
Why do I have all this bullshit on here?
That's the fundamental problem that we have with trying to limit the sphere of information to come out of Mr. Hall, is that they're not a statement against interest.
Right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this under advisement until after lunch. I'll look at the super case and consider counsel's arguments. And I'll give you a ruling at 1 o'clock before we bring the jury back. Yes, please.
It's at 781 Northwest 390, Minnesota Court of Appeals, 2010.
All right, I'll take a look at that and consider counsel's arguments and come back at.
Oh, he ain't got the nice one.
In terms of the questions that I provided to the court, you would, as I understood the court's instruction, you were limiting those questions to just in the car.
Correct.
Time frame in the car. That's the basis. The statement that Agent Henning took that I would intend to potentially play would be more of a description because of what they did that day.
Right. Understood. Okay. Any other motions we have to deal with this morning? Otherwise, we should start up the jury.
I haven't done Photoshop in like years.
The discussion we had in chambers relevant to last night's events.
Do you have a motion? Let's do it.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, I am requesting, again, sequestration of the jury in view of the incidents of last night. As the court, I'm sure, is aware, an officer-involved shooting took place in the city of Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. As a result of that, there was some fairly extensive civil unrest that occurred. I would note to the court that we have at least one juror who's a resident of that particular city, and other jurors who have connections to Brooklyn Center. Given that this is obviously a high-profile case, this is a case that evokes a lot of emotion for a lot of people. Ultimately, Your Honor, the question becomes: will the jury be confident to make a decision regardless of the potential outcome of their decision? There's two possible verdicts here, right? Guilty or not guilty. And my concern is that these jurors, and it's been an ongoing concern that a juror in Hennepin County being exposed extensively to the media before coming in and serving as a juror, being at least initially cautioned only to avoid news about this particular incident. We questioned one juror already about whether she had seen some particular pieces of information that had not been presented in court. She had credible responses to the court, But ultimately, this incident, while it is, I understand it's not this case. I understand that it is not involved, that it does not involve these same parties. But the problem is that the emotional response that that case creates sets the stage for a jury to say, I'm not going to vote not guilty because I'm concerned about the outcome. During voir dire, we have many jurors who, on both sides of the political or social debate, who expressed concern about if they don't agree, if the public doesn't agree with the verdict. This incident last night highlights and I think brings it to the forefront of the jury's mindset that a verdict in this case is going to have consequences. And they've been exposed to that already. So at this point, I would request that the court further voir dire, first and foremost, further voir dire jurors as to whether or not they have learned of this, because some jurors may be completely avoiding the media and some may not. So we should, I believe, first voir dire jurors to see what, if anything, they have learned about last night's events. Second, whether those events would have any impact on their decision-making process or concerns about their decision-making process. I think that the jury should be sequestered. I think that the jury should have been sequestered. I've made that clear in previous discussions and motions. I think the jury should have been sequestered throughout the pendency of this trial. And I think that the jury needs to be cautioned at the beginning of every day and at the end of every day to avoid all media. Again, we've had discussions about that in chambers. So I believe, Your Honor, that at a bare minimum, that's what should happen.
Does the state have a position?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you.
This is the
state
secretary.
opposes the motion for sequestration. I don't believe that sequestration would be a remedy that would be appropriate or frankly effective. As counsel pointed out, it's a different case. It's a different department. It is an officer-involved shooting. It is something that happened nearby. We really don't know what the facts of the case are at this particular point as those things are unfolding. But world events happen. Things continue to happen in the state, despite the fact that we're all here at trial. That's just what happens. And we can't have every single world event that might affect somebody's attitude or emotional state or anything be the grounds to come back and re-voir dire all the jurors. The court, in our voir dire process, we asked the jurors, specifically the issue that Mr. Nelson is concerned about, whether they would be so concerned about the outcome of a verdict that they would be unable to be fair and impartial, render either a guilty or not guilty verdict. And all of the jurors were sworn in the panel so that they would be able to do that. And the court will further instruct them that they are to do that. They're to render their verdict without regard to the result. The law presumes that jurors follow the court's instructions, and we should presume that they meant what they said when they said, that they can set aside these external issues and decide the case based solely on the evidence. So I think it would be inappropriate to voir dire jurors now about events that, while related and being on the same topic of the case, do not involve this case. In terms of sequestration, I don't think that would be an effective remedy. Again, as far as the court admonishing the jurors to avoid all media, I don't oppose that request. I think that it does present some issues. If you order the jurors to avoid all media, then it's very difficult to avoid all media. And we'd have to tightly define what does avoid all media mean. Years ago it used to mean don't read the newspaper, don't watch TV. It means something different now, I suppose. Media comes at us in all different forms. I think it'd be very difficult to follow an order to avoid all media. And while it might have the effect of reducing the media contact, I wouldn't want to have a situation where then, if a juror inadvertently receives some media, some unrelated thing, that would be a grounds of claiming juror misconduct because they didn't follow follow what would be, you know, a nearly impossible court order. So I think the court could fashion some guidance as to what to do. You could encourage them to avoid all media. You could even order them to do it, but if something inadvertently filters through, I think we can't overreact. I think we'd have to you know, look at that on an individual basis, just like you did with the other juror question that we had the other day, and found out that it really wasn't what we thought it could have been.
I'm going to deny the motion to sequester the jury and for additional.
Thank you.
Here. This is a totally different case. And I realize there's civil unrest, and maybe some of the jurors did hear about that. The reason why, in my initial order, I said we're not going to sequester, but we might go to it in the middle of trial if the concern there was that despite keeping jurors anonymous, that somebody may find out who one of the jurors is and reach out and have an inappropriate attempt to tamper with the jury. We have no indication that that's happened in this case, and that was the concern about going to sequestration. I understand the argument from the defense that this now puts them even more ill at ease, but I think sequestering them would only aggravate that. Oh, I heard about the civil unrest, and now the judge is putting us into sequestration. There must be a greater threat to our security. I think the better way is to just continue with the trial as we've been going. That's a separate issue. They should treat it as such. It'd be a different story if it was civil unrest following another verdict, so the jury can see what the consequence of a certain verdict might be in a similar case, but that's not this case. The jurors all are aware and were concerned about their safety because of what happened in May of 2020. The civil unrest that followed there. Not a big surprise that there's now civil unrest in response to this case, but I don't think that should heighten the jurors' concern. I think it's probably the same as it was before. They all have a concern that they expressed and were very honest about. And so I'm not going to sequester them. We'll sequester them on Monday when we anticipate doing closings. So I will proceed accordingly. So with that, let's bring in the jury.
All right, while the judge brings in the jury, we're going to step aside and take a break and get you back into court for week 3 of testimony in the Derek Chauvin murder trial. This is Court TV, your front row seat to justice.
Attention anyone on Medicare. Did you know millions of Americans over 65 don't have all the Medicare benefits they may be eligible for right now in 2021?
I'm on Medicare. What kind of additional benefits could I be eligible for?
Everyone on Medicare will get coronavirus coverage, but you may now also be eligible for additional Medicare-approved benefits, including dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drugs, plus benefits like free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free meal delivery, prescription drug coverage, and expanded at-home telehealth visits.
I keep hearing that we don't automatically get new approved Medicare benefits. So should I call to check up and see if I'm getting the Medicare benefits I'm eligible for?
That's right, you don't get these benefits automatically. So call the toll-free
type
number on
hungry.
your screen for your
Yeah,
free,
I'm
no-obligation 2020
I'm about to redo this. I'm going to do
Can
the
I
program
really
for
get
this
extra benefits
business
or
card.
save money? You may be eligible for $0 monthly premiums, $0 deductibles, or $0 copays. Just call the toll-free number on your screen now to see if you qualify for additional benefits. There is no obligation to enroll. The call and Medicare benefits review are absolutely free. You don't get these benefits automatically, so call now to see if you're eligible. Just call 800-311-8588 now to find out if you're eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan that includes additional benefits like free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free meal delivery, and free rides to medical appointments. You may also be eligible for $0 monthly premiums, $0 deductibles, or $0 copays. Just call the toll-free number on your screen now to see if you qualify for additional benefits, including dental, vision, hearing, and prescription drugs. There is no obligation to enroll. The call and Medicare
Gonna
benefits
get it back
review
and bleed.
are absolutely free. Just call 800-311-8588. 800-311-8588.
Attention, anyone on Medicare.
Let's see.
You may now be eligible to save over $1,700 per year and get additional Medicare-approved benefits, including free hearing aids, free eyeglasses, free home
Oh yeah, I got
prescription
cat around
delivery,
here.
and free rides to medical appointments.
We're both on Medicare and talked with an insurance agent, but we've been hearing a lot lately about newer plans with additional benefits and want to make sure that we're getting all the benefits that we're entitled to.
If you're not 100% sure about your Medicare benefits, it's time to call the Medicare helpline.
I'm like all over the place right
call
now.
is free. You could be eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan with no copays, no deductibles, and no monthly premiums. That's no as in zero.
Is it true that I don't automatically get the additional benefits? But if I call, your agents can look up what plan I'm on and let me know if I'm getting all the benefits I'm entitled to.
That's right. Call now to instantly find out if you're eligible for a Medicare Advantage plan that includes additional benefits. You don't get these automatically, so call and see if you're eligible. The call is free and there is no obligation to enroll. Just call the toll-free number on your screen now to see if you qualify.
Our friends are all saying we should call right now to see if we can get new additional Medicare-approved benefits. But with so many people over 65 trying to call,
Come get it, baby.
will
Blue.
be busy?
The Medicare helpline is open to help anyone on Medicare make sure you are getting the benefits you deserve. Just call 800-673-2020.
So, Java full stack.
Already on a $0 premium plan. By shopping your Medicare options today, you could potentially save more than $1,000 per year on your prescription drugs. There is no obligation to enroll. The call and Medicare benefits review are absolutely free. Call 800-673-2020. That's 800-673-2020.
Oh, this is not that account. Okay. Let me log out of this one.
Welcome back to Court TV. I'm Stanley Painter here in downtown Minneapolis. The judge just denied a renewed defense motion to sequester the jury after there was another shooting yesterday of a young black man by police near Minneapolis. To discuss everything that just happened in court, though, still with me, criminal defense attorney Daryl Exum, and joining me now is Kelly Hyman, a trial attorney out of Denver, Colorado. Thank you both for being here. Let's talk about some of the key rulings and matters the judge just took up before he's going to bring in the jury. We'll start first with the one denying the defense motion to sequester the jury again after the news of what happened here near Minneapolis yesterday and the
foot out. My foot is so swollen right now. It's like I got gout. I might have gout.
So I'll start with you, Daryl, on do you agree? I know we talked about this a bit earlier, which I think I know your answer, but do you agree with what the judge decided?
Well, I think the judge is right. His analysis was that this jury is not going to see another verdict and see what the aftermath of a verdict is, but instead,
it's the shoes. It's just the shoes that I'm wearing.
Similar situation happened.
Can't wait till I get my other shoes. When I get my other shoes, it's good.
So I think the judge was probably right. The only problem is, I think if this persists, the judge might have to do it.
Yeah, and Kelly, your thoughts on this? Would you have asked for the jury to be sequestered?
Nah,
Well, if I was the defendant, absolutely, I would ask for them to be sequestered. And first and foremost, my thoughts go out to the family, the Wright family, to lose their son so young. It's a horrible shooting.
I'll be back later on the stream. I'm probably gonna do Fallout 76, Fallout 4, or do Mortal Kombat again. Y'all gonna see me later. I like how clear this came out. Like, I usually don't look this clear. But
and then the other issue, the judge took
later on the stream, catch me on Facebook, Instagram, all of that. I got it set up now for like Instagram. So the first hour is the Instagram screen, and then it's like from that point on, it's the like the streaming screen, which like goes back to full screen. So you can view it on the go, and whenever like you come back to whatever, or switch over to Twitch or switch over to Facebook, all migration. So, alright, follow me at John Gleeshy, GLEESHY. John is spelled with no H. Peace.